FOI panel here at Paradise Valley Community College. We are very fortunate to have a robust panel of our alumni or soon to be alumni participating as our experts. They're going to be sharing their insights and perspectives, keeping in mind that they are either in the process or have already completed their education here at PVCC and are out in the world working, so they'll have a lot of insights to share with each of you. We have some of our panelists here in the KSC at Paradise Valley, and then other panelists are participating virtually. So I want to say thank you to our panelists. We have Sarah and Hannah, Audrey, Michael, Mario, Adriana, Liz, and Anthony. So we have a great group of people to share their experiences. And we also are very fortunate to have two of our lead peer leaders who are going to be our panel facilitators. We are recording the panel this morning because some of our students and of course our campus community are now able to participate at this time, but this is a way for them to log in and see the recording and listen to and view the panel. So just so everyone knows that it is being recorded. If you're participating virtually, please share any and all questions you have in the chat, and we will be sharing those as time permits towards the end after our panel facilitators have asked the predetermined questions. So keep that in mind, and if you're here in person with us, you'll also have an opportunity to ask questions of our panelists. So we really welcome the opportunity to get your feedback and to take advantage of the wisdom that our panelists bring to us today. At this point then, I guess I should say, I'm Cecile Vavick-Morrow, and I have the pleasure of working here at Paradise Valley Community College in the area of alumni coordination as well as development work, which is kind of focused on raising money for student scholarships. So very important part of what we try to do here at PVCC. So having said that, I'd like to turn it over to our panel facilitators. And so that'll be Jack Brown and Tamara Gugorich. So take it away. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then the panelists will have a chance to interview themselves.
Thank you, Cecile, and good morning, everyone. So we're going to start with some brief introductions. My name is Tamara Gligorich. I am a lead peer leader, and I'm currently studying business at ASU, but I am also a PVCC alumni, and I'll hand it over to Jack.
Cool, thanks. I'm Jack Brown. I graduated from PVCC in December of 2020 with an Associate of Arts in Psychology, and I'm currently at ASU hoping to get my Bachelor's of Science in Psychology by the 2023-2024 academic year.
Sweet. And then we'll have Hannah introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Hannah Hatch. I'm based in Phoenix, Arizona, and I graduated Paradise Valley, I don't even know, back probably over a decade ago. I currently work for Susan G. Komen, which is a nonprofit organization that focuses mainly on breast cancer and eliminating that in our society, and specifically work on corporate partnerships and the development of those partnerships with corporations across the country.
Beautiful. Thank you, Hannah. And Michael?
Hi, my name is Mike. I've been a licensed mental health counselor for the last year now. I've been a counselor for the last 5 years. I've also worked as a nurse for the last 12 years. I graduated PVCC in 2007, and then I did nursing school at Glendale and got my master's degree at Winston-Salem State University 5 years ago. Really excited to be here. I love PVCC and love Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix for 11 years. Currently live in the Seattle area, just north of Seattle in Kenmore, Washington. So glad to be here.
Thank you. Adriana?
Hello. So I graduated from PVCC in 2007. In 2007, I moved to Maryland to attend Morgan State University, which I obtained my bachelor's degree in social work. I graduated in 2010 from Morgan State. I decided to pursue my master's degree in public administration, specialized in public policy. Went to University of Baltimore from 2016 to 2019. Currently, I am a caseworker for Baltimore City Department of Social Services. So I work with children that are in foster care. My job is to try to reunify the children back with their parents. If not, I try to find permanency in regards to finding a stable housing with relatives, foster parents, to get them out of foster care.
Thank you. Anthony? I know he's in person.
My name is Anthony Bayer. I'm currently in the Fire 1 and 2 program right now. Just working to become a career firefighter in somewhere here in the city of Phoenix.
Thank you. Sarah?
Well, sorry. Hello, everyone. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and sorry about my voice. So, I graduated at PVCC in 2014, I believe, and I was pursuing my degree, pursuing my pharmacy studies, and so I went to pharmacy school. Well, back here, got my bachelor's in psychology and my master's in healthcare administration. I currently work at Terrace. It's a clinic here in Tempe, Arizona, and I really like it. I'm a rehab specialist. So yeah, happy to be here with you guys. And like everyone else said, I do like PVCC a lot as well.
Thank you, Sarah. Mario?
Hello everyone, my name is Mario. I actually started coming to PVCC when I was an early college student. So when I graduated high school, I had already 30 credits for PVCC, so that motivated me to come here. I graduated PVCC in 2015, and then I went over to Arizona State University, where I got my bachelor's in public service and public policy with the concentration in law and policy. And then in the year 2020, I finished my master's at ASU. I got my master's in public administration. I think one of you mentioned that as well. And now I work at PVCC as a student service analyst. So that's a little about me.
Thank you. And Audrey?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Audrey Hajak. I came to PVCC for the EMT program. I graduated that this past semester, and then I decided that I loved it so much I wanted to stay a little longer. So I am currently in the paramedic program. My background is I have my bachelor's degree in sociology from American Military University. I was in the Air Force for 7 years, and I was a police officer for 5.
Beautiful, thank you. And then I know we had one more come in. I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry.
Liz, I believe.
Liz?
Hi, I'm Liz Abasa. I'm currently a student at PVCC in the Fire 1 and 2 Academy, and I'm pursuing to be a firefighter for Phoenix.
Beautiful, thank you. And welcome everyone, welcome back. So we're gonna start with the first question, and we're gonna start with Hannah. Was there a key moment in time that influenced you in your career path? If so, please share.
For me, I would say that after I left Paradise Valley and also my bachelor's degree at Grand Canyon, I was kind of floating as far as career paths and really uncertain of what I wanted to do. I tried a bunch of different jobs and was just kind of in and out. I did everything from even like personal training, got my personal training certification, as well as account management and some other fields, and tried a bunch of different things. And it was at the time when I kind of pieced together what I liked about each one of them and what I was good at. I really just took some time to sit and think about what strengths did I bring to each one of those roles and what did I enjoy about each one of those roles. And that really helped me in giving some direction and guidance to what I ultimately wanted to do and end up in. And I knew that was in the nonprofit sector. And I knew it was more about coordinating and building relationships. And so then I just started from there doing my research as to what types of positions that would involve and what they would look for in those positions. So I think it was just kind of a culmination of a lot of different things, probably 3 years after graduation, that ultimately led me to my career. So
Thank you for sharing, Hannah. And for Mike, same question. Was there a key moment in time that influenced you in your career path? If so, please share.
Well, when I started PVCC, I had originally wanted to go into journalism. I wanted to be a writer. That was a dream of mine from all the way when I first started writing as a kid. But my mom had got sick the year I was going to start. She got pneumonia, and she was in the hospital for three weeks at a PV hospital, and she almost died. And she's on a ventilator and all that. This was back in '04, or '05 actually. I was 18. I just turned 18, and my aunt, uh, Monica, she's a nurse from Miami, and she came up and she helped to really rally the family and get people back on track. And my mom recovered from that, and it made a really big impact on me to switch my major from journalism to nursing. And I really appreciated the power of the helping professions. And 12 years later, I'm still a nurse. I became a counselor because I'd been 7 years into nursing at that point. I'd done the military and things like that, and I just wanted to see what else was out there. And knowing my mom's background as a therapist, listening to her stories and her experience, it really had a good influence on me. And I found out that they had a program at my school that I did my undergrad at, Winston-Salem State. So I once again made the decision to go into another field that's related to the helping professions, and I'm really grateful for doing it. So.
Thank you. And Adriana, same question. Was there a key moment in time that influenced you in your career path? If so, please share.
Yeah, so I grew up with two siblings, three of us total. When I first started PVC, I was on a track team, so I was on scholarship when I first went to PV. So during that time, my goal was to be a pediatrician. That was my ultimate goal: be a pediatrician, take the just the fundamental courses. Till I realized I wasn't good at chemistry. I continued to take chemistry, continued to drop chemistry, and by my second year at PV, my last year, my mom took in 5 children, which became a hardship for my mom. Because we're a 3-bedroom house, she took in 5 children, plus she got 3 children of her own. My big inspiration was Todd Lehman. I don't know if you guys know him, but he was the track coach, the assistant track coach at the time at PV. He's currently at Grand Canyon University. So him and I, to this day, we still talk. He was my big influencer. He knew what I was going through. He knew the hardship that my mom was going through. He definitely worked me towards going into social work. That's how I got to Maryland. He kind of persuaded me to come to Maryland. So that's why I decided to do social work. Just talking to Todd in regards to what I needed to do. He helped me look through courses. He coordinated with another coach from Arizona that was moving to Maryland. So he connected me with him, and we looked at the school. So suddenly all is new. As soon as I graduated from PV, I was on the next flight to Maryland to attend Morgan State on a Fulbright scholarship. And then that's when I pursued my degree in social work.
Adriana, real quick, Swan, who's in the room, said you ran the same season I did. It was a great year for track.
For what season? What year?
Michael,
I ran 07. Coach Barney, I was on the cross country team.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I ran the 2 years I was there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Small world.
Sweet. And same question for Anthony. We have, was there a key moment in time that influenced you in your career path? If so, please share.
Yeah, so out of high school, I actually got a school track scholarship to go to Northern Arizona University. But before then, I had the opportunity to go ride along at Phoenix Fire Station, just get to know the culture of the fire department. And one thing I took really big from there was that it's a very much teaching culture. When you go down there, you ask questions about everything, and everyone's always looking to get better. So that really struck with me, and I loved it. There's always something to learn. So when I graduated from Northern Arizona University in 2020, decided to take on career path of firefighter. So PVCC gave me the opportunity to come down here and continue my learning, so I keep working towards becoming that.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Those stories were very inspiring, and I'm going to pass it off to Jack.
Cool, thanks. So this first question is for Sarah. What advice would you like to share for current students interested in the behavioral science and human services related professions?
Yes, so I would say that I went on to try to complete my degree, my prerequisites for pharmacy school, and so a key moment was when I changed that major and went into psychology. So I majored in psychology. So I have like pharmacy experience and knowledge, and I also have psychology knowledge. And I really enjoyed psychology more, so I went on that path. But it's like other people have said in the panel, try different things, see what your strengths and weaknesses are. There's not one position that is for a certain, like everyone, you know. So just try different things, I would say, and you learn who you are along the way as well.
Thanks, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, same question. What advice would you like to share for current students interested in the behavioral science and human services related professions?
Yeah, I think in these fields, what you hope is to seek to understand people and to seek to help people. And I think that's why we're all here, and the people virtually as well. And I think that's very important. If you think that's your passion, then I think this is the area. Because if you're not passionate about that, if you're not passionate about helping people, then this field might not be for you. So I think research the jobs, research where you see yourself in, also building relationships, see the benefits, the pros and the cons, because there's always going to be pros and cons in every field. So see those at a young age while you're in high school or your community college or even university, research all of that. And then internships are very important. Always look for resources and even paid or unpaid internships that can help you find which career in this behavioral degrees, which one you'll fit in. Because there's a variety of different fields in here. So by doing internships at a young age, that will help you build your resume, which again, that's very important because sometimes when you're applying to jobs, sometimes the grades don't really matter at the end of the day. And when they do while you're in high school, you get scholarships. But if you build your resume, you work on that, that'll help get you ahead and get you more opportunities in the fields that you want to be in.
Thanks, Mario. Audrey, same question. What advice would you like to share for current students interested in the behavioral science and human services related professions?
First of all, I just want to say, Adriana, I also ran for Food 20. So we have that trend going here. And I think that coincides with some of the advice that I would give to everybody is get involved. This is absolutely the field of people. And if you limit your openness to knowledge and you forget to look around, that we're all a part of this career field each and every single day, no matter where you look, there's always that opportunity for learning. And I think one of the coolest things about this career field is that if you limit yourself to what you learn in your coursework and then you go out into the field and you're like, oh, now this makes sense. But get a jump on that, because what you can do is you'll start realizing that what you're studying is apparent all day, every day. And if you start looking at that as an educational opportunity as well, and you can do that even better by getting involved in things like sports, your track, your clubs, honor club, and just start networking, because you're going to find challenges throughout the way. But if you have a strong network of people and you're using every opportunity to see and apply the knowledge that you learn in this career field in your everyday living, I think it's going to give you an excellent opportunity to just not have to take that extra step after you graduate and be like, okay, now how do I really do my job? You get the opportunity to have that knowledge and coincide that and basically merge all of that together before you even get to your job. So don't ever close your eyes, because it's everywhere. It's all around you, and you just keep applying yourself. And you might have struggles in chemistry, or you might have struggles in something else, but that's the same type of guidance as having success. And so sometimes when you figure out what your weaknesses are, it guides you onto a different path. And as long as you're open and receptive to that, and you are honest with yourself about what you're wanting and where you're wanting to go, and you just keep up getting up every single day, no matter how hard it is. It's like, okay, I really messed that up yesterday, but I'm going to get it right today. And every day is a fresh start. So keep your eyes open, stay learning, stay open-minded, and then just keep getting up.
Thank you. That was great. Lastly, Liz, same question. What advice would you like to share for current students interested in the behavioral science and human services related professions?
Just like other people have said, networking is a huge importance. It's not only for you to get your foot into the door of any place you want to go, like for me, firefighting, but also it makes you build relationships with people that last lifetimes. And the different connections, like I am connected to people here one way or another. I mean, we're all trying to pursue something similar, so that's one way we're connected. And just find something you connect with people, and then you can grow from that, and then they'll also grow. There's never a time that you're not learning. No matter how many years you have. I mean, I'm early on. I came here straight out of high school, but no matter how many years, I have people telling me who have been on the job forever. They learn every day. I'm learning every day. I've been surrounding myself with firefighting related stuff, like since I was 16, and even though it's not a huge time, I still grow and learn something every day. So like she said, always keep your mind open and learning to everything new. And everyone is like, it's a people job, so everyone's there to help others. So don't be afraid to reach out for help.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, everybody, for that great advice. And I'll toss it back to Tamara.
Thank you, Jack. The next question is, and we'll start off with Mike. There are many different career paths in the, I'll just say the FOI, you guys know it's very long and wordy, behavioral FOI, related profession. How would you advise students on how to choose their path?
That's a good question. Now for me, it was pretty direct because I had the resources at school, and I had influence from not only my mom, who had been a therapist for 30 years, half of that in Arizona. I also had influence from PVCC. The counselors at PVCC are fantastic, and they can help you delineate a good pathway. Now, from a career perspective, there's different dimensions to career that you can recognize, and your counselor can help you disseminate and figure out what your interests are. So there's things called interest inventories that you can take to help you understand what your interests are, right? So I'm not going to go through the full definition of those career paths because that would take all day. But I definitely recommend trying to look out for different opportunities for career assessment, whether you talk to your career counselor, you talk to your friends, your family. There you go, Maricopa Pipeline AZ. That can give you kind of guidance on where to go. And then just really think about what you like to do. You know, what do you like to do for fun? What are some things that you feel like you would do even if you weren't getting paid for it? I often tell people I would be a counselor if I was independently wealthy and didn't have to get a paycheck. I would still do counseling. I volunteer as a counselor every month. And if it's and it sounds cliche, but if you absolutely can do something, if it's something that you would want to do for free, then it's probably something that you'd want to do for a good long while. So that would be my advice: is just connect with your counselors, understand what your interests are. You can take interest inventories, ask your friends and family what they do if you're not sure, and just get that influence so that way you can guide yourself to the best path for yourself. So.
Interesting input. Thank you, Mike. And then same question for Adriana. There are many different career paths in the related profession. How would you advise students on how to choose their path?
It has to be a passion, because burnout is real, especially basically in this field, because the thing is, you're taking on a lot of people problems. It could be mentally, physically, it could be anything. I've been at my job 11 years, going on 12. I've been in the same position for going on 12 years. And I'm not burned out, 'cause I'm passionate of what I do. I like helping people. Yes, it could be tiring. Yes, it definitely could be tiring, but it's more of it has to be a passion. Some people might, see that, oh, I could do this field because it's more money. The thing is, how long are you going to be passionate about that situation? Especially me being a caseworker / social worker. The money's not great, but it's more of a passion. So I would just say follow what you love to do. Not love to do in regards to a professional, like even outside, like what do you do outside of your everyday life? Do you like helping out the homeless? Do you like volunteering? That kind of stuff is really want to look at, like the career path and doing that stuff that you're already passionate about doing already. Because that burnout, I work with people that have been at my job for 20, 30 years. I'm one of the youngest in my unit. Been there 30 years and they burned out. And when it's burned out, it's like now you're at that age that nobody's going to hire you because you're at the age of retirement now. So they basically just holding on. So, but definitely you have to be passionate of what you'd like to do.
Thank you. That actually reminded me of this song. It's the line is, I'm on vacation every day because I love my occupation. So I don't know, it just reminded me of that. Anyways, we'll go next to Anthony. Same question. There are many different career paths in the related profession. How would you advise students on how to choose their path?
Just to piggyback off of what people were saying, just pick something you're gonna love in your everyday life. For me, coming out of high school, I was an athlete. I played 3 sports, and that's what I love to do. So when I got to college, the obvious next step for me was to become an exercise science major. I wanted to become a strength and conditioning coach, so which I am a certified strength and conditioning coach right now. But I was always looking for something more I could learn, and that's a field you can learn as well. But as for me, to become a firefighter was always something I want to learn. I want to keep learning. I want something new to happen every day for me, something new to come up. And in a behavioral science degree, science is always growing. There's always more research. There's always more things to look at. So that's how one thing I saw it in. One thing I want to keep educating myself and keep moving forward. Being that education is a big part of my life. I've been in school ever since I left high school. So since 5 years old, I've been in school. So that's something I looked into myself, but also just And up to work, we go up, and we wake up every morning, you know that this is what I need to be doing, this is what I love to do. And for me, you know, going on and do that research, I would definitely go do some research. You don't fall in love with something quick and then go on the first thing, do some research. For me, it was riding along. I rode along for almost a year before I knew I really wanted to do it, because just everything I saw and everything like that, and just know who you are in that job. You don't, everyone's different. And for me, I'm a little more of a laid back personality, so I like to talk to people and meet people every day. So for me, that's, I go into someone's house on someone's worst day, I maybe, you know, bring a little light to the situation, depending on what's going on or how professional I need to be in that situation. Something's really bad's going on. But just even that, comforting someone's kid, or just talking to them through whatever they're going through, just talking to patients like that, meeting people that way as well as people in the profession. And so that's some advice I can give about that.
Thank you, Anthony. And Hannah, same question. There are many different career paths in the related profession. How would you advise students on how to choose their path?
Yeah, I think we can spend a lot of time on this question, but there's already been some great advice given. I think that this is such a exciting time to be learning and to be choosing a path. And everyone says, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I personally do not like that question. Because I think the best advice I have ever been given, and that I would give everyone, is to always choose a direction and not a destination. And so if you have that direct path or, you know, seat in mind, you're limiting yourself to opportunities that might be better suited for you. And so what everyone has said, network as much as you can, do internships, see what else is out there, talk to as many people as you can. And it's through those conversations that you will land on something that resonates the most with you. And you'll really just start figuring out what direction you want to head into, and you'll end up in the right spot where you feel that you fit the best and you're most passionate about over time. And so I would just take the opportunity during these early years to take even the unpaid internships and any internships that you can, and just talk to as many professionals in the different various fields as you can, and ask them. And also just know that we're all out here and we're working, and if we love what we do, we want to talk about it, we want to share it with others. And so don't be afraid to ask people what they do, and ask them more questions, because we spend so much of our days and lives doing that job. And so we're happy to share it with others so that they can find their path too. So don't be afraid to have a list of questions and ask.
Thank you, Hannah. And now I'm going to pass it back to Jack.
Thanks, Samara. So this time we'll be starting with Liz. Is there anything you would have done differently on your educational journey? If so, please share.
Honestly, I live by not having many regrets. I learned from everything I've done before. So for the Fire 1 and 2 Academy, we have a pre-academy called Red Shirt for the class, and I did that twice. Not many people do it twice. But I saw that I needed some more physical growth. So I just kept at it, and differently, maybe I wish I would have started sooner, but I'm also grateful that I didn't, because I had the experience of learning the different things that I did before. Like when I was in high school, I decided to join as many clubs as I could. I was never home. I practically lived at school. I was there for any club that would accept me, I was in. So I just tried learning more about myself and growing from everything that I do and the people around me, and learning from that. So things that I would change, not really anything. I'm just glad I found what I want to do early on.
That's great, Liz. Thanks. Audrey, same question. Is there anything you would have done differently on your educational journey? If so, please share.
I would have done a lot of things different. My career path has been a little bit backwards, I think, for most of the people on our panel today. I went to four-year college first, and then because of different life circumstances. My education brought me back to community college, which has been such a blessing. So I'm going a little bit backwards, I think, than most people have. But as far as what I would do different, part of my, I don't know, my experience comes from having found the career path that I really loved and loved police work, loved law enforcement. It was fantastic. Got my sociology degree to kind of help with that and help me understand people better. And then because of a physical disability, I had to leave my dream job. And so that's no fun. So I went on a soul searching mission and had to figure out what I was going to do from there. I ended up taking some nutrition classes and stuff, health and science classes to kind of give myself some guidance and figure out where my new interest is going to be. Because when you lose that one job that's your dream, it's like, okay, well, now what do I want to do? So you need to be ready to rebound from that. As far as how I would have done that differently, I think I needed that career exploration for that period of time. And it really did bring me back around to, okay, what is my foundation? What am I wanting to do? And one of the things I did incorrectly, I did not advocate for myself. I have a learning disability, and so I tried to struggle with that privately, and I didn't talk to anybody about it. And there is a distinct period when you look back at my career path where it was finally to the point that's like, okay, I don't have to suffer by myself with this anymore. We have the Disability Resource Center. We have all kinds of setups for people who are struggling either privately or openly with different learning disabilities and accepting that that's my reality. And I was now met with physical disability and then a learning disability all at once. I'm supposed to be, tough military police officer. So having to accept that took me a lot longer than I wished I had. But most importantly, I wish I had advocated for myself sooner and taken advantage of the Disability Resource Center and some of the other options that are available if you have personal, professional struggles. And I think Paradise Valley has done an excellent job on making all of those not only available, but easily accessible to everybody. So I would definitely have advocated for myself sooner if I could go back and change one thing.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Mario, same question. Is there anything you would have done differently on your educational journey? If so, please share.
Looking back in high school, well, I'm a first generation college student. I think maybe some of you here in this room, virtually you are too. When you're a first generation college student, maybe your parents didn't go to college or university. So I think that for me was a little struggle, not knowing the exact path or how to do certain things. I think back in high school, when I was in high school, I think what they mostly worried about is your attendance and for you to graduate high school. And I think it has shifted over the years of high schools actually helping students find their paths, find their careers, find scholarships. If I could go back, I would apply to more scholarships. I obtained some during community college and university, but I was not aware of all of them that are, how we make aware students. Now I think we have excellent departments in the high school. We have excellent departments here. Actually through here to the career services department here, they've helped me obtain this job by helping with my resume. So always look for your resources, whether it's in the high school, whether it's community college, whether it's university. So if I could go back, definitely apply to more scholarships. And don't get discouraged if you don't get a certain scholarship, if you don't get accepted into a certain school. Don't get discouraged if you don't get a certain job. I feel a lot of my friends got discouraged that way at a young age. They didn't initially get what they wanted to do under, like I said, scholarships or a specific job. But don't let that be a barrier in your life. I think the most successful people in this country have failed more than they have succeeded. So failing is actually normal. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be that straight A person and that person that sits on top of the class. There's other ways, and just keep fighting. And if you know what your goal is going to be at the end of the day, you will accomplish it. So that's my take.
Awesome. Thanks, Mario. Now I'll toss it back to Tamara.
Thank you, Jack. And And this time we'll start with Adriana. And the question is, what do you know now that you wish you had known before you chose your career path?
Like everyone had mentioned before, networking. I wish I would have networked a lot more while I was an undergrad, even grad school. Just getting my foot into the door. It wasn't easy. Getting my foot into the door once I got my degree. And because a lot of places that you apply for, they want the experience. If you don't do an internship, if you don't network, what experience are you possibly gonna get into your field? So I think networking was the biggest thing, which that's something I do regret, not networking, not taking on an internship. I kind of was like, I don't want to take another class. I'm not going to do the internship. It's going to get it waived. And that's what I did. And I regret it because it took me a while to get into my field.
Great advice. Thank you, Adriana. And Anthony, same question. What do you know now that you wish you had known before you chose your career path?
So fortunately for me, I did have a family of archers that kind of like threw me in the right direction. But yeah, just make sure, I would definitely say, yeah, as far as networking goes, that's huge. Just make sure you're able to talk to people, open up. I know out of high school for me, even public speaking for me was very harsh. I wasn't a good public speaker by any means, but learning to stay out there and talk to people, don't be afraid of a bad answer you're going to get or asking a question that you think is going to have a negative answer back. Don't be scared of that because you need to know, you need to get scared because otherwise it's going to sit in your head and you're going to be beating yourself up at night wondering what it could have been. So definitely for me, and even in college, definitely for me, a big thing was learning how to do that, learning to communicate with people. When I was in class, I was always up there, be the first one up there to go talk in front of the classroom, making sure my presentations were had in my notes, everything I needed to do. Even now in this situation right now where I kind of last minute on this panel, being able to talk now, I wouldn't be able to do this 4 years ago. So making sure I knew how to do that was huge. And just talking to people, yeah, just be open to new things. Don't be afraid of not getting your first choice at something, and don't be singular minded. Be very open to anything that's offered to you.
Thank you, Anthony. And you're very well spoken. Just want to put that out there. And Hannah, same question. What do you know now that you wish you had known before you chose your career path?
I would say just all the possibilities, like everyone has said, networking, but really just getting involved. Even if you don't have time for an internship, you have time to get involved in organizations and to volunteer. I think there's just so much out there as far as the possibilities in jobs, and we're so used to seeing like the frontline workers or the volunteer managers and those types of positions, but there's much more involved when you actually get into an organization. And so just get started, get your foot in the door and start again, just networking and asking around and asking people, asking to meet with them to learn what they do. I wish I had done that way earlier. I did that like as soon as I got my foot into the door in nonprofit. I started meeting with everyone in every department, asking them what they were doing because I wanted to make sure I was in the right spot and where I wanted to be as a career path. And so start early and get involved. And if it's not through a job because you don't have time, then it's through volunteering with different organizations. But just get involved to know what's out there.
Well said. Thank you. And Mike, same question. What do you know now that you wish you had known before you chose your career path?
I think really just to piggyback on what everybody else is saying, networking definitely important. I wish I took advantage of more opportunities for networking myself. My sister used to work there, Ryan. She used to work there a while ago, and she had connected me with Larry Fields. I don't think Larry's still working there anymore, but he was the business development manager back in 2007 there, and he helped me so much with just kind of understanding like the career aspect, like how to see yourself as a careerist and not just a student. And I think that's really important. Another thing is, and I think that this really took a lot longer than what it should have, in spite of everything that I'd been through over the last 15 years, is confidence. being able to go into a room and say, you know what, I'm here, I exist, my rights, my voice deserves to be heard is really important. And it's something that took a long time for me to develop. Taking classes like public speaking, how to give a presentation, how to make your ideas known and communicate clearly. This is something that is so underrated in school, and I would definitely, especially if you're in social services, would recommend focusing on your communication skills, focusing on your confidence building. Whatever you do that you feel like builds confidence. For me in school, you know, running was a good confidence builder for me, even though I wasn't very good. I enjoyed being out at the meet, you know, and just getting out there, because I'd been really like morbidly obese before I started running. You know, it helped me change my life, change my lifestyle. So very grateful to the track team, to cross country, and everything that I did at PVCC. So
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for being very vulnerable. Appreciate it.
yeah.
And I'm going to pass it back to Jack.
Thanks, Tamara. We're gonna start with Audrey. What was your biggest challenge in your educational journey, and how did you overcome it?
I think I may have already answered this on the last. But clearly, my biggest struggle has, without a doubt, been my learning disability and embracing that, and learning to stand up and advocate for myself, and understanding that, you know, just because my learning style doesn't necessarily, you know, allow me to network with people, that's so important. We keep saying that word, but over and over again, it's so incredibly important. And having a different learning style and having to go to a different testing facility, or not being able to effectively utilize study groups with my peers was kind of a challenge. And figuring out, I think for me, taking a semester of just taking general awesome classes that are going to teach me life skills that I'll apply in other ways, I think that allowed me to get back into the mental mindset of going back to school. And by doing that, I was able to embrace my individual learning style, but I was also able to figure out ways to still incorporate that into study sessions and study groups. And even if that wasn't the most effective for me, being able to time manage that in there, it still ends up being equally as important, even if I still have to go home and study in my own silly little way. I just make sure that I have the time management available to still go and network and meet my peers, because these are going to be the people that we work with out in the field. So that opportunity to incorporate that was a challenge, and it was a struggle, and it made me feel uncomfortable. And usually I don't mind talking to people. That's what I did for a living, for goodness sakes. So I should hope I enjoy it, and I'm continuing the same career field. So being able to still make those connections to my peers was a challenge, and I overcame that by embracing who I am and taking advantage of the resources that are available finally, which was a huge step for me. But that's helped me, you know, not only successfully complete the EMT program, but also have great success in the paramedic program so far.
Thank you, Audrey. I just want to back up what Tamara said also beforehand. Thank you, everybody, for being so vulnerable and open. It's very inspiring. Liz, same question. What was your biggest challenge in your educational journey, and how did you overcome it, or are currently overcoming it?
One thing is to know your environment and who you're around. Like everyone is saying, it's very important to network. Yes, networking is good, but it's also about who you're networking with. Because certain times you'll be put in situations where you're with people who, or just situations, environment in general, where it could negatively impact you, but it's more of how you learn from it and how you know, okay, this path is not the path for me because of that. When I was younger, I spent a lot of time in the hospital because, not for me, but my dad had leukemia. And because of that, I saw my family members and people around me like go through the hurt in different ways. And from that, I see the environment itself was nothing I could really stop myself from being in because it's something that you have to go through. Life happens. No one's gonna always be healthy and great. It's not just, your path is not just a mountain straight up. There's bumps. It's a rocky road. So learning how to go over those rocks and knowing which path to make and finding good ways to cope with things healthy is very important, because I've seen people go downhill quickly, and just seeing that in my life, it's easy to give up, but I say it's always better to just keep going, because when you're done with one mountain, there'll be another one. So if you see one mountain that you don't like, you turn around, there's another mountain on the other side. So it's never going to be easy, but if it's the right path for you, it's the right path for you.
Thank you, Liz. That was very beautiful. And I just want to say that I heavily empathize with what you said, because when I was younger, my mom had breast cancer for quite some time. So everything that you just shared, I was like thinking the exact same thing as a child and also in retrospect. So thank you for sharing. Mario, same question. What was your biggest challenge in your educational journey, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I think similar to you've been mentioning, my parents, when I was 16, they were sent back to Mexico. And I'm 27 now, so I've been here a little over 10 years alone. The good thing is I can go and come back. But I think when you're 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, I was a freshman in high school. You know, I felt alone. I felt my life completely changed, I think. And at that point, I had to make a decision, either to continue my education or to leave back to Mexico. And I think I chose the right one. I'm here. But no, it was difficult. I think that motivated me itself to continue sharing my story, and whether your parents might not get sent back to Mexico, right? But a lot of things happen when you're young. You might become a mom, you might become a dad. Somebody might pass away that will impact you and your family. So there's many barriers in life, not only in work life, but in life in general. And I think, just like we had mentioned, sometimes there's going to be a really big breaking point. And if you're ever able to overcome that, I think the sky's the limit. I think once you know what you can do, and I think no matter all the other problems that happen later on, once you have dealt with the most difficult one, I think the other ones, you look at the other ones smaller, and that helps you to accomplish the other ones as well. So just like I said, you might not know, like, life is so unexpected, and we've seen in these couple of 2 years how life has changed all of us in many ways, during what's going on in life in general. So expect the unexpected and be ready to conquer and accomplish everything that you want to, if you can.
Thank you, Mario. That's great motivational advice. Now I'll throw it back to Tamara.
Thank you, Jack. And this is the last round of questions before our Q&A. Just want to put that out there. So we're going to start off with Anthony. How have your experiences at PVCC either directly or indirectly impacted the work that you do?
Yes, I'm currently at PVCC right now, but thankfully for me, I do my first choice in the departments I want to go to after I'm done with this academy is Phoenix. So PVC has a great program here, and I'm actually down with the Phoenix Fire Academy right now, so we do most of our training, and most of our mentors down there are Phoenix firefighters, or if not, with other departments around the city. So for there, it's a place for me, it's a place to showcase what I'm capable of, how I work with others, and how I work day in, day out. Go down there, be myself, work my hardest, and I hopefully after the academy's done, I'm gonna get help from some of these guys to get hired on in the department. So, and PVC has that great program right there. So for me, it's keep working that. Also, just I just mentioned always network, always talking to people, don't be scared. And for me, I think one thing I have learned throughout these years is just to be myself. Don't try to be something you're not. It's not ever going to work out for you. Don't think you have to be something more than what you are. We're all getting into this career field. Everyone, so many different diverse personalities you're going to meet throughout, no matter what years you're doing, EMT, paramedic, fire department, and the list goes on. But you're going to meet so many different people, and it's really going to wear down on you if you're just trying to be something you're not, and you're just not going to like what you're doing anymore. So, and I did happen to be in college for a little bit. I just tried to do something more than I was doing, and I was like, well, what am I really doing here right now? So that's just something to think about, just moving forward. And I would say, for me, it's helped me graciously. I love where I'm at right now. People love me. We were actually down in the academy, we work at engine companies. So that basically means I have three of the guys with me right now that we work together on a daily basis. And we couldn't be more different. I work with an accountant, and I'm a contractor. Two different lives. We're good friends now. Just because of what we're going through and what we're doing every day. And that's I'm straight with him, he's straight with me. And so just keep that in mind moving forward, I would say. And I promise you, succeed whatever you want to do.
Thank you. And next is Hannah. Same question. How have your experiences at PVCC either directly or indirectly impacted the work that you do?
Yeah, I would say PVCC allowed me 3 different things. So one, it was to take a wide variety of classes because you are doing so many exploratories at the time. I took an education class, I took 3 psychology classes, I took a nutrition class. I did a wide range of classes to really figure out what I wanted to do. And knowing other campuses, if you go to like a 4-year university, most of the time, like at ASU, you would have to go to Tempe, West Campus, Polytechnic, and you just don't have that opportunity to do such a variety that you can at PVCC. So take that opportunity to do your exploration while there. And then second was the teachers at PVCC are phenomenal. The staff, the professors are incredible, and they're really there to help support you. And while the classes are small enough and they're intimate enough, get to know the professors and use them as references in the future. Really take the time to lean into them and to network with them so that they can help you get into where you want to go. Because again, when you get into another larger university, you just don't have that opportunity where you're more of a number than a name. And so take advantage of that. And then for me, on a very personal note at PVCC, I also ran track, and Coach Barney and Coach Todd were both phenomenal. I still am in contact with them today. And it was one conversation that I had with them that looking back has led me to where I am today. But they were sitting there in the room one time, it was the 3 of us, and we were all just chatting. They were just like, man, our job is to focus on coaching and to get these athletes to be their best and at their peak at the right time. And we're having to focus on fundraising and putting our efforts somewhere else. And I just thought, man, if there was some organization out there that could help them with that. And funny enough, I ended up doing my capstone when I went to Grand Canyon University. I did my business capstone and created a sports, like a athletic business venture where basically you work with companies who could sponsor local events in the local communities. And looking back, it's so funny because I didn't recognize at the time that that's what I would go on to do as my career in the future, where I'm building those corporate partnerships and sponsoring a passion that I now have as of today. So for me, Paradise Valley just brought a lot of opportunities, and I'd encourage you to take advantage of the same.
Thank you, Hannah. Same question for Mike. How have your experiences at PVCC either directly or indirectly impacted the work that you do?
I think the counseling that I received from Andy and I believe her name was Rachel definitely had a really positive impact on me to kind of be able to talk to people, be able to understand and be genuine with people. And I'm really grateful for the work habits that PVCC instilled in me. I mean, I'd have math classes where I had to be in class every single day, and I'd have to go to the math lab every single day because I'm not a math major. I got an A in the algebra class, and I'm like, how did I do that? I have no idea. But it was just like it was amazing to have that work ethic. And I also worked as a janitor at PVCC. I worked in the copy center. I was involved with PVC, and it made me realize that if you work hard and you believe in what you're doing, um, even if it doesn't seem like you're making progress, you will make progress. And in those 2 years, I think I've learned more about how to be successful in academia and in work than I have in any other program that I was in. And I definitely was able to use the study habits that I garnered at PVCC to be successful in undergrad and grad school at Winston-Salem State. So very grateful for the work ethic and the values that I learned at PVCC.
I'm very happy to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And lastly, Adriana, sorry, how have your experiences at PVCC either directly or indirectly impacted the work that you do?
So I see this differently. So when I attended PVCC, I didn't expect to go to college. Coming from El Mirage, Arizona, I went to school, Dysart High School. Of course, I was an athlete there too, and nobody was looking at my school. Nobody was looking at no high school. I didn't know how to pay for college. I wasn't planning to go to college. And of course, it took Todd, it took one other student from a different school that was my rivalry for her to introduce me to Todd, because she went to PVCC. So that's how I got to PVCC. So it is out of nowhere. I think Todd, at that time was MySpace. Todd contacted me on MySpace with the other athlete. And then that's how I got to PVCC. Once I got to PVCC, of course, I'm still confused of how I'm gonna pay for school, how I'm gonna get this done. And then of course the scholarship came about. And I learned a lot just being at PVCC. Yes, it costs money to go to school and stuff like that, but also the scholarships that went along with it. I wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for PVCC to even give me a chance into attending school, especially from the high school I was attending, or the high school I was graduating from. Didn't expect for somebody to even look at me from that school and basically be like, oh yeah, we want to take a chance on it. And they definitely did take a chance on me, because I was the typical college athlete, the high school athlete. I wasn't about school. I was just doing what I needed to do just so I could play a sport. Play basketball, I ran track. I did enough to make sure I was able to play and run. So that includes doing all C's in school. But I did enough. And I learned a lot. And PVCC definitely impacting my job now. Of course, I'm working with I'm working with clients from Baltimore City. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about Baltimore City. Me coming from Arizona, moving to Baltimore, they always ask me, why you move so far? You got family here? I don't have family here. My family's still in Arizona. I'm here by myself. I traveled to Maryland by myself. So I had to grow up fast. Moving out here at 19 years old, I had to grow up fast because I didn't have family. I couldn't run back home to Arizona. So just dealing with my clients now, I'll let them know that Ms. Vargas, I can't do this. Ms. Vargas, I can't read. My family don't have money. And I tell them all the time, I say, there's money out there. You just got to find that person who's going to believe in you, and the money's going to flow. And I tell them my story. I'm like, I didn't have no money. I didn't know how I was going to get to school. I didn't even think I was going to go to a college overall. I thought I was going to go from high school straight into working because I knew I didn't have the money to go to college. But from there, I was getting scholarship, and I maintained this, ran track. I was like, okay, since track is going to pay for college, I mean, I'm doing something right. So I ran my all 4 years, and it paid for a 5th year, and it was lovely. So that's how PVC helped me in regards to being able to show my clients that there's more out there than just being in Baltimore City. I tell people this all the time, that Baltimore City is small, but it's kind of big at the same time. So a lot of people out here, they don't believe in moving outside of Baltimore City. They feel stuck here in Baltimore City. So I tell them all the time, like my clients now, I will move them out of different states. I would move in with family members out of states or in different counties, and they'd be like, I would never picture myself living. I said, you have to explore outside your comfort zone. And I said, if Coach Todd would never push me to go to Maryland, out of nowhere was like, go to Maryland, you have to leave Arizona. And I was like, no, I'm not, I can't leave. But I've been out here ever since. I've been out here since 07, and I don't plan to move back to Arizona, so.
Thank you for sharing. And thank you for all the panelists. That is the end of our questions. Now we're going to open the floor to any students or anybody that has any other questions. You can put them in the chat or shout them out. I'm looking through the chat. I don't think I see any.
Okay, everybody. First of all, let me thank the panelists for sharing their rich, unique, and shared experiences and how they got their path to where they are now. It's so appreciated. And I hope the students that have come are learning some things. And don't forget, networking was mentioned several times. I put in the chat LinkedIn. Come see me about how to open up account in LinkedIn. We have a shadow program that you can be part of. And of course, Pipeline AZ. So these are things that can help you with some of the things were mentioned. Okay, so anybody have any questions in the room or in chat? Jack, why don't you ask?
Sure. Was there a moment where any one of the panelists, was there a moment where you felt like giving up but didn't?
Yeah, after Glendale, I definitely you know, I was definitely really just kind of disheartened about the nursing field. I didn't finish my RN. I didn't finish my last semester, so I had to settle for getting LPN, which is a lot less career opportunities. But one thing I think I did that helped me work through that was analyzing what my choices were moving forward from that. I was still a reservist. I was still had a nursing license, even though it wasn't the one I wanted. So I was able to make something out of that. I shifted from wanting to work telemetry in hospitals to working in home health. And I found home health to be a lot more enjoyable. Pediatric home health is a very great profession. It's a lot less stressful on your body because you're not having to lift heavy patients. And I really enjoyed that work. And ultimately, I switched to active duty. I did active duty Army, which helped finance my grad school. So I was very, you know, it's like that saying, when one door closes, another one opens. You have to look at all your options, even if things don't go the way you feel like you want to do, that you want them to go. So.
I'll go on that one too. As far as wanting to give up, I think after experiencing some of the physical disability and losing the career path that I always saw myself retiring from twice, because military and police, I ended that. It was very tempting to give up. I could sit at home. I have 4 children, so for me, it's like I'm a mom, and that could consume all of my time, and that could consume my entire identity, and I would still not have a free moment. But so that was definitely a real possibility for me, is considering whether or not to stay at home, just be a mom and you know, go to T-ball games and stuff. But there's something more to me, and there's something more to that identity. And I think that it needs to be shared, because I think each one of us has something special. And I think it sets a better example for my children, that I'm continuing to push through it. And it's like, yes, I experienced adversity, and they were right there along for the ride. So for them to not only see me coming back to college, but knowing that I struggled through my learning disability and being my support system, I gave them confidence and the ability to step up and be a supporting role, which was big on responsibility for them. But now to see moms in the honors program, moms running track again, moms running, moms walking, it was this magical journey full of ups and downs, but Ultimately, there are many times I wanted to give up, but I look into the faces of the people that I love, and I see the amazing gains, even if it's one day at a time. And I see that, and those are the moments that you just keep getting up and you keep looking at the top of that mountain and you keep heading towards it.
Just like I mentioned, sometimes you're not going to get the opportunities that you apply for, especially at a young age. There's a lot of competition. And I think that's when I've also felt discouraged. But what I've done differently is that, you know, I got a lot of the opportunities that I applied for were other ones I created myself. So for example, internships, don't just think that there's internships for the ones that are posted. If there is an organization or a company that you are very interested in, go ask. Go ask if you can be an intern. And I've had like 3 internships that way. I've actually gone in there, talked to the CEO or talked to the person I'm supposed to talk to and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can you create a position for me? And most of the time they have agreed. So I have obtained internships, and sometimes they've been paid, sometimes they've been unpaid. But sometimes, you know, organizations don't even know the value of interns. And if you go up and ask if they will get an intern, most of the time they will say yes. It's either paid or unpaid. So think outside the box. Don't just think that internships. Make your own internship. Create your own job. And that will open opportunities not only for yourself, but for other students coming your way, for the other generations after you. And that could be a pattern going on. So again, don't be discouraged. And always look for a way not to win. That's, I guess, one of the quotes that I most believe. Always look for a way, and you'll find a way.
Question from Joseph. This might be very specific, but does anybody have any experience with behavioral health technician job or know of anyone who has had experience with that job, knowing it's entry level?
So I can answer this one specifically because I've worked with BHTs when I worked at the Crisis Triage Center up here in Kitsap County in Washington. And the job typically is entry level. They're always hiring for this position where I live because it's very, it's an entry level position and there's a lot of turnover. It can be very stressful because you're out on the front lines working with clients directly one-on-one. You might be working on behavioral skills. You might be working on just meeting their basic needs. So food, water, shelter. You might be helping to connect them to services. You do essentially many of the tasks that a counselor could do aside from mental health diagnosis and treatment planning. So you are the frontline person, and there are BHT courses you can take. Also having a CNA license is also helpful, especially if you work in the psychiatric hospital areas. They are looking for a lot of times they are looking for people with CNA licenses, but it's a very entry level position and shouldn't be too hard to get into. It's just being able to have patience and being able to go with the flow as it is, and being able to set boundaries for yourself. So I know BHTs who are working 130 hours every 2 weeks on their check, and I would be like, how are you doing this? That's too much. But you know, being able to set good boundaries for yourself and being flexible are 2 really good qualities to have in a BHT. What I appreciated with the BHTs I worked with. So.
Thank you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because of our time, we want to say thank you so much for coming. Particularly a huge thank you to our panelists for sharing your insights, both your professional, your educational journeys, as well as some of your personal experiences. I think that really helps those of you who are following in their footsteps to get some ideas and some inspiration. So let's give everyone a round of applause. You will be finding a brief survey in your email inboxes, both the panelists and those of you who attended. We welcome your feedback. We're always trying to improve these panel experiences. And so we would like to know what we can do differently or what really you appreciated. So please take it, just will probably take you 3 minutes to complete. So I hope that you will do that. I'll be sending that out later this morning. So. Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry. Thank you very much to all the panelists. I was standing in front of the, behind the camera. So I want to say thank you for giving of your time and your experiences. Really appreciate it. And we're so happy to have our alumni come back and be involved on campus. Thank you. And also our current students, Anthony and Liz are in the program. And of course, as Audrey has said, she's a returning student. She completed the EMT and now she's completing her paramedicine program. So thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Good.